I think in the summer when Arsenal signed him and I had my Liverpool hat on and I looked at the signings Arsenal made, and besides Gyökeres, it felt like a lot of them were to strengthen the squad really. So where Arsenal had problems the year before was when Saka was out, so they bought Madueke. Odegaard was out, they got Eze. One of the centre-backs was missing, so they got a couple of centre-backs. It was only really Gyökeres who felt like he was going to go into the team. And if I'm being honest, I think if Havertz was 100% fit, Havertz would probably be the centre forward in this team, I think.
Welcome back to Killing the Game. Like, share and subscribe. Big take on Man City coming up as well. I want to get all your opinions on this as well. Tim Sherwood trying to set Arsenal up for failure. He looks a fool. And the Arsenal hatred is out in full force after their win yesterday. And I've got some absolute classics for you as well. But I also want to ask you about Chelsea in this stream. So stick with us. Stay with us, like, share, and subscribe. But let's go back to the beginning there and listen to what Jamie Carragher said. And for me, this is why Killing the Game as a series exists. I want to hear pundits be professional, give true insight, do their research, and give us a perspective as pros that understand the game. We don't want to see them as fans. We don't want to see them give biased analysis. And for a while now, I've been called out, Terry, no, they speak facts, they speak football. Who are you to challenge them? We should respect ex-pros and pundits. And I respect them as people. But I think you and I both know the truth, that sometimes they kill the game, they kill the football conversation by giving opinions that are based on a bias from some direction. Let's go back to the beginning and listen to what Carragher said, because for me, this is revealing. I want to see more of what we're about to get and less of the latter. Let's take a listen again.
Just be honest, I think in the summer when Arsenal signed him and I had my Liverpool hat on.
When Arsenal signed Eze, he had his Liverpool hat on. So wasn't giving you an assessment based on a professional's view, the insight into a player and how he could improve Arsenal and give them a different dimension, whether it's central or from the left. He gave you a Liverpool fan perspective, which was to play it down, was to write him off to a certain degree and act as if it was a nothing signing. But because we expect them to be professional, people go, oh, I was on the fence here, but I'm going to side towards it being a bad signing because they're professional. One of the top men in the game has given me essentially a false opinion.
And I looked at the signings Arsenal made, and besides Gyökeres, it felt like a lot of them were to strengthen the squad really.
Zubimendi is definitely for the first team. Again, the lack of insight and knowledge around that man is crazy.
So where Arsenal had problems the year before was when Saka was out, so they bought Madueke. Odegaard was out, they got Eze. One of the centre-backs was missing, so they got a couple of centre-backs. It was only really Gyökeres who felt like he was going to go into the team. And if I'm being honest, I think if Havertz was 100% fit, Havertz would probably be the centre forward in this team, I think.
And that is, listen, I disagree. I think Gyökeres would have played a lot of games. But equally, we've seen it take players time to adapt to new teams, new countries, new leagues. Normal should be something we've got to bring back into punditry, something we've got to bring back into fan discourse. Not everybody has to, as a striker, you don't have to start like Haaland to end up being a good signing. But aside from, it wouldn't have even been the end of the world anyway. If not all of these signings started straight away, it can actually be better for your team. Ask Liverpool.
So when Eze came, I thought, okay, maybe it's not a game changer. And Les knows him a lot better than me. He still said earlier on the show, there's still more to come.
Everybody knew this. I'm actually, well, again, you know it when you're being unbiased. You know it when you're being honest.
But then we've still seen some of his highlights this season. There were still a few great goals in there. And then he goes and scores a hat-trick. So apologies. I think I've certainly undervalued the importance that signing was, because he looks like he could make the real difference for Arsenal this season and go on and win the title.
And look, fair play to Jamie for addressing it. You know, you've got to give somebody respect for that. But he's exposed what I felt's been going on for a long time. I'm going to give an opinion as a Liverpool fan and not as a football man. And in the fan channel community, I get it and understand it. I try my best not to do it, but I wasn't really like that as a fan anyway. If you speak to my nearest and dearest and my friends, they'll tell you I've always kind of been like this. But I want it, you know, you think he's a Sky pundit. And if you're outside the UK, this may not resonate with you, but it does with us here. We spend thousands a year to be able to watch football on TV in England. It's ridiculously overpriced. So when you're listening to your pundits who are part of that program that we're paying the salary of, you want professionalism and honesty and not fan content. I love fan content. I'm part of it. But that's not what I want from my Sky TV presenters, my TNT, the BBC, which taxpayers' money go to. I want real, honest analysis in these moments and not sort of mindless drivel. But when it comes to apologies, though, I will say this. I think Carragher's also got to issue one to Casemiro. You see where I am going to go and defend one of my players for a moment here at Man United. In May 2024, Carragher said, leave the football before the football leaves you. 18 months later, the current Brazil manager is saying Casemiro is Brazil's most important player. Jamie, I think another apology is needed. I think you've got to say sorry to Cass. What do you all think in the comment section below? Let me know. Let's take a little listen here to Tim Sherwood. This was before the game. Let's take a listen.
If they win tomorrow, Arsenal, they'll win the Premier League. And then they'll win it for years and years to come. I believe it. They'll get over the line.
That's a compliment. What's the problem with that, Terry? It's a compliment. Professional punditry, Sky Sports, big money being paid. We pay for it. Let's take a listen.
I honestly believe this is such a huge football match. If they don't win tomorrow, I don't think they beat Chelsea.
So if they win, they're going to win the Premier League and multiple Premier Leagues. But if they don't, they won't beat Chelsea, and it changes everything.
And it's all change. I think Man City are right up their backside. I think that
Man City lost.
I think it would be really, really
that Merseyside
tough.
seat is getting to you, isn't it?
It'd be really,
I mean, a massive claim. Winners for years to come if they get that win tomorrow.
I think all short of them is experience of actually getting over the line and doing it.
It's the mental.
You see that there? That's the seed. Oh, what's letting them down is experience and getting over the line. So what I'm going to do as a Spurs man is I'm going to paint this picture that if you win, it's the bucket of gold at the end of the rainbow. It's utopia. It's the end goal. It's everything your hearts have desired. But if you don't win, I'm going to discount. Listen, Arsenal smash them, but let's not pretend that derbies have not been levelers. In many a derby have been levelers for all of our lives. If they don't win, I can use that as the catalyst to go, mentality isn't there. They're going to bottle it. They won't beat Chelsea. It's all over. It's the sublime to the ridiculous. Again, we're paying for this.
Mentality now,
is doing it.
Yeah.
It has to be done. Look, I won the Premier League and none of our team had ever won it before. It was like, can you do it? Yeah, we didn't go and do it on again. But I think they got the capability of doing it.
And that's why it's a really interesting thing, because Blackburn had setbacks in that season. And I do understand it sometimes. Once upon a time, Liverpool and Spurs were in the Champions League final. And I made a call. I said that one of the team that wins it, I think, will go on to win more. And the team that loses that final might fall apart after that point. It might not quite be the same team again. And it happened. But that was due to multiple near misses and it being such a big occasion, a Champions League final. To make that claim on the 12th game of the season, where they would still have a numerical advantage if they drop points in that game, to say it's all over, it's all done for a derby game, again, this is the kind of punditry I'm talking about. It is obvious that you're planting a seed and you revealed it there. It's creating a sort of feast and famine motion, which I don't think is necessarily true. And this idea that, well, Arsenal haven't won it in years, there's no way they can win it now. Well, as a Blackburn man, as a Blackburn man first, I find that to be a crazy, crazy notion indeed. But it wasn't the only thing like that we saw yesterday. And Arsenal were fantastic. They've rightfully had their praise. But you know when Arsenal were fantastic based on the criticism they do get online. Now, this criticism I thought was amazing. This is funny. So anyone who's crying, I'm telling you, this is hilarious, right? And I couldn't believe this is what was getting attacked yesterday. So what we saw was Arsenal release a tifo. And it was a really good one. I mean, compared to that shower curtain they had last season, it looked absolutely brilliant. But then what I started seeing were these tears. And there you have people going, club design, club funded, worthless, it's horrible. And there was multiple tweets like this. Club funded, AI printed. Oh yeah, it's not real photographs, you're right. It was definitely made on a computer. The tears that I saw over the tifo was one thing. Then I just saw one of many people kicking off, rivals kicking off about North London Forever and how horrible a song it is and how nasty it is. And I did chuckle. And listen, as I say, do your banter, do your worst, right? It's part and part of the football. But Arsenal fans, don't get suckered into the rage bait. You know you're doing well when all Spurs fans, when all Chelsea fans, when all the Man United fans who just want to throw crap your way, when all they've got left is your club pay for your tifo, and I don't like North London Forever. That shows, listen, it proves the point I've been saying for a long time. People are scared of you. They are scared. You don't focus on those things unless you're scared. You just don't. In fact, you don't even think about them. They worry you. They're worried about you. You've got them rattled. There's no doubt about it. But crying over the tifo. And by the way, maybe I'm out of touch here. Is the club funding it instead of making the fans pay for it a bad thing suddenly? Because I thought fans having to fork out for things and more things was like the road to ruin in football. Now a club pays for something like that, which their fans love and enjoy. Now that's a bad thing. I never understand it really.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
I think we're probably moments away from getting a here we go from Romano. We're probably not far away from getting a full agreement tweet from David Ornstein. It seems as though this is finally coming to a head and coming to a conclusion, and Eze will be a Tottenham player. And the very exciting thing is it could well be in time for Man City on the weekend, which would be fantastic news because he's going to be absolutely needed for that game. But what a signing. What a signing this is going to be for Tottenham.
This was We Are Tottenham TV reacting to getting Eze.
Yeah, I'm buzzing. I've always thought this deal was going to go through.
Big up the boys.
I've been pretty confident about it for the last couple of weeks, but when you hear full agreement has been reached between Tottenham and Crystal Palace, it just brings even more excitement inside into the feelings, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see him get going.
Whoa, 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 feelings.
I can't wait to see him holding up that shirt. Can't wait for the announcement. I mean, this is a massive signing, people. It really is a massive signing. And, you know, a month ago, you never thought this was possible. After signing Mohamed Kudus and getting Palhinha over the line, it looked like Arsenal were all set to go and sign Eberechi Eze. All the reliable journalists were saying, yeah, Arsenal in negotiations, Arsenal this, Arsenal that. And I'm telling you now, Arsenal fans reading all these updates coming through, when he's finally holding up their shirt, there is going to be a meltdown.
Oh, listen, we've all been there. We've all been there. Just it happened to Spurs a couple of times this summer, just gone. But wow. The football gods, and there was posts as well. The amount of people that have said, by the way, I always want to thank our viewers. When it comes to a lot of these tweets and a lot of these clips, you guys that send them in to me. So a big thank you to all of you. But this was one of the funniest things. And in fairness to Mr. Black here, he quote tweeted this himself saying he was stupid. But he literally said cheaper than Eze, younger than Eze, played at a higher level than Eze. Eze was a Premier League player and an international player. Higher career ceiling than Eze, more ambitious than Eze, more ambitious, better than Eze. We fell forwards. Enjoy. I can't even read that. Basically, erectile dysfunction gooners. Eberectile dysfunction gooners. Oh wow! The football gods spoke. The football gods. They were speaking loudly and clearly there.
Picks up an injury.
But you sort of talk about the fact that no one else has scored more than one goal as being a negative. Mm-hmm. And yes, they have this huge reliance on Haaland. But isn't the whole team built around creating chances for this extraordinary finishing machine that he is?
But what happens if Haaland picks up an injury? What if Haaland is not in this incredible goal-scoring form? That's why we need the likes of Phil Foden. And he has stepped up, to be fair, Doku to step up. But it's not just about playing well, it's about moments. This game was just about moments. Man City, I don't think Newcastle were that much better than... I think they created better chances. Newcastle took their chances and Man City didn't today.
I understand the notion that if Haaland gets injured, that's it for City. There's nowhere to go. But they do have Omar Mamouche, who I think with a run of games could score goals. I also think somebody else will step up. Doku has stepped up this year and looked good. Foden has scored some important goals, and I think there is more to come from him. I know they missed big chances this weekend, including Erling Haaland. But that's going to happen. I'm just not someone that buys into this idea that if Haaland misses 2 months, City are going to completely fall off planet Earth. Omar Mamouche is there for a reason. Foden can score goals. Doku is stepping up and looking good. Plus, there is something in a few weeks' time called the January transfer window, which I think City might go and explore. There's the likes of Semenyo that may come into their team. I do find this notion being pushed. Listen, I've got a lot of respect for Michael Richards. Big up for following us recently on Instagram. Thank you, sir. Oh, are we back? What's happened there? I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I'd love to get your views on this. I'd love to get your opinions on it. But from my point of view, I think it's a little bit too much. It's like the Chelsea conversation. I said earlier I want to speak Chelsea too, because we're going to do some big building up this week to Chelsea versus Arsenal, because I think this game is massive. Do I think if Chelsea win, it finishes Arsenal's title hopes? No, I'm not doing the Tim Sherwood here. We're not going to go over the top. But I do think if Chelsea win, maybe there's a little confirmation bias in this for me, so I want to be really careful I'm not doing that. But I felt they would be in and around this title race. I felt that Chelsea would be within a handful of points of the leaders for large parts of the season, so I wouldn't be surprised. Do I think they'll win it? No, I don't think defensively they're strong enough. I don't. I do think there is still a gap between them and Arsenal. The gap has certainly been closed, but there is still a gap there. But belief's an important thing. When I look at this Arsenal team, you can see they believe, you can see they've got a maturity, you can see they have this togetherness and this mentality to stay calm throughout the course of games. A win this weekend for Chelsea could help inject more of that. I still think they're a season or two away from being at that level of maturity based on the average age of their squad. There's no disrespect in that. But I'm intrigued to know. A lot of people writing Chelsea off still think they're a no mark on this season, that they're going to have no say on it. Yes, I criticised them earlier on in the campaign, but more so for when they went down to 10 men and didn't really have a plan and an idea. But they've gone up a level. They're performing very well again at the moment. And just early on, you don't need to give a full prediction. It can change by the end of the week because there's Champions League football to come. It might change people's views on things. But how do you see that game going? Love to get your views and opinions on that. But look, as ever, thank you all so much for being here every single day. Like, share, subscribe, turn on that bell notification button, and we're going to see you all again very, very soon.